I'm Almendra Cremaschi. I am from Argentina and I am here representing the University of San Martin and BioLeft.
My full name is Noktula Mchunu. I'm from South Africa and I work for the National Research Foundation, which hosts the African Open Science Platform as part of the initiative where we look at advocating and promoting open science.
I'm Cameron Name from the European Organization for Nuclear Research, where I work as the head of Open Science.
I'm Michelle Gentleman, and I'm at NASA headquarters. I'm the Open Science Program Scientist on assignment from the International Computer Science Institute.
I'm Tiffany Straza. I work with the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO.
So for me, open science means, actually as a South African, it means to equity and diversity in the continent. And most people know recently South Africa came out of the apartheid era, and equity and inclusion is very important to me. So coming from that perspective, so open science offers a chance for Africans or for people in the global south, again I always use this definition loosely, to be participating but also contributing in the generation of knowledge and access to knowledge.
Open science to me is a tremendous opportunity to recreate how we encounter science. It is a chance to not just open up the results of science and share our knowledge with others, it's also a way to reshape how we create knowledge, who is part of creating knowledge, who is in control of what we decide to study, how we study it, and how we apply that knowledge later on in our society.
At CERN, we operate the world's largest scientific instrument. We are likely the world's largest generator of scientific data, and we are a highly complex, diverse, and international research environment. And in such complex research environments, we really believe that open science is essentially a necessity. It's the only real way for us to effectively communicate between scientists across our discipline, people working all around the world, to work collaboratively and to work effectively.
For me, open science means opening up the knowledge, not only at the end of the research, of course, but opening up who we invite to the table to produce the knowledge, and focusing on producing knowledge that is actionable for transformation. Not necessarily short term, it can be long term, but with a clear purpose of what world do we want to.
Open science means to me that there are going to be more diverse perspectives represented in science, because when we open it up, we allow more people to participate. It's actually a safer space for different people, different backgrounds, different organizations to be present. Open science is important because we saw during COVID, when we opened up access to publications, science was more efficient, science was better, and it saved lives. But immediately after COVID, we went back to the old gatekeeping of knowledge with publications behind paywalls. So when we open up science, we know it's faster, we know it's better, we know it saves lives, we know it leads to better breakthroughs.
From my perspective, open science is really important because it's more efficient, because it avoids duplicating work in a context where resources and time are really, really scarce. But it is also more democratic because it allows to incorporate new voices, it allows new ways of collaborating.
So open science, as I've already mentioned, is somewhat of a necessity in our discipline. We seek to try and understand some of the mysteries of the universe and answer some really fundamental questions about science. And we feel that doing this is truly an international endeavor, which requires open, fast communication of scientific results. And so embracing open science practices is really the only way.
To me, open science is important as a movement because it is a chance to bring together a global community for a stronger science, a more effective science that is more connected to the realities people are facing in their day-to-day lives.
Promoting open science and then being adopted, I think for the continent it will serve two things. Yes, it will make things open, but by opening things up and for increased participation in the knowledge generation space for the continent and for the scientists or researchers and communities in the continent, it will offer a space to display their work. for their space, for their work to be visible, so that people can see that in the continent, groundbreaking work is happening, very good ideas that can contribute to challenges that we are facing in the globe that can happen, but also making sure that their work is discoverable and rewarded, and all this is kind of like a cycle.
Another thing it will be really, really important is to build networks and to collaborate with new actors or with new stakeholders we aren't used to collaborating so far, and that can bring new perspectives, new opinions and assessments of our projects. Sometimes we are like encapsulated in very short and endogamous networks, and it's really, really necessary to build cross borders and cross projects connections that can help us to have broader perspectives about what we do.
I think it would enable breakthrough science. I think if you want your researchers, I think if you want your institution to be doing breakthrough science, the more they collaborate, the more they build on others, the more breakthroughs they're going to have and the more impact they're going to have, because when you collaborate more widely, when you collaborate with more people, you're not just finding a solution, you're finding a better solution, and that impacts more people.
I think the future that we'd like to be able to manifest is one where we empower research communities all over the world to solve some of the very pressing and very complex problems that we are facing as humanity. We'd like to set that example in high energy physics, in our very complex discipline and complex research environment. If we can demonstrate that in this research space, we can operate open science holistically and effectively, we can set a global example, and through doing that, we hope to empower research communities all around the world to contribute towards some of these very complex issues that we're all facing.
For open science to really function as it should, it must be truly global. If we continue to perpetuate an openness in just one area where a certain group of researchers have access to the tools and knowledge and others do not, then we simply create, recreate, and make bigger the divides that already exist between communities and between countries.
And this is my call to many open science activists and people who are not in the continent or in South America, is to make sure that the way we do open science doesn't replicate the inequities of the past, because open science also has the possibilities of widening this gap.
If we open up our research, we open up opportunities for people to participate, for people to feel seen and heard in science, for them to stay in science rather than feeling pushed out and exiting into other career paths or rejecting scientific information and the decision making that is grounded in science. If we open up science, if we make it more accessible, more inclusive, more trustworthy through its transparency, then we can build stronger decision making, we can build stronger societies that use the best of our knowledge.
So for me, open science is really exciting, really an opportunity for the continent to showcase their work, and of course for the rest of the globe to be really inclusive in the way we do research. Thank you.